warm-ups that are great, especially if you are in a vinyasa flow or it's an early morning class and you're going to be putting a lot of weight on your hands. What you want to do is start by fisting both hands and making an infinity symbol or a figure 8. So gently roll the wrist around. Try not to use the whole arm, just roll the wrist around. Get your hands warmed up. And then once that's done, fist both hands and flick your fingers out. It's like you're opening the palms out. Know that a lot of our students end up doing the reverse. This is natural for us where the fingers come in. So make sure you flick outwards. So you are stretching from the center of the palms and flicking out, okay? If you want to heat up quickly, you take your arms overhead and you would flick your fingers out pretty quickly and strongly, and that will bring a lot of warmth and heat into the hands. A few other on the mat things you could do is in tabletop, you can turn the palms towards each other, okay? Put a soft bend in your elbows. You could rock side to side. You can even make circles in one direction and then go in the reverse, okay? You could also do the same thing with your palms turned out. And the intention with these things is to load the wrist and then to softly rock back and forth. You could make circles. And one of my personal favorite ones is where you turn the palm around. Yes, all the way, depending on the range you've got. And then you pull back onto your heels, softly load up on your wrists. Again, pull back on your heels and then load up. And I always would recommend caution on this one. This is a big stretch for the wrist and something that a lot of students need getting used to. Okay, there's this one, and there's also palms turned up and fingers facing each other. When you do this one, I like to make a soft fist where the forefingers come in and the thumb comes in last, and you roll the fist towards the forearm. You bend your elbows, keep rolling the fist towards the forearm, you straighten back up, and you do this a few times. Now what this will do is it's going to stretch the back of the wrist, and it's actually a really nice deep forearm stretch in many ways for the wrist. And then you come out. The final one that we like to do here, well, final two, is you open your palms up and you drag the fingers on your non-skid mat. It's like you're collecting fine powder or dust on your mat. You open it up and then you grab. So it's working your gripping muscles in your hand. So you open, no space under the hand, and then you grip very strongly. Okay. The last thing I like to do, this is not really a warm-up. This last one I'm showing you is more a wrist release. If you're doing a lot of arm balances in class, at the end we'll put the forearm down and we'll take the opposite forearm and we'll make circular movements. Okay, it's almost like we're trying to massage out the forearm, and we do it on both sides of the forearm. Just take your wristwatches or bracelets off for this one, and then we'd also swipe down the hand a few times. Okay, it feels really nice. If you find a sticky spot, you stay there and you massage into it, especially if you do a lot of chaturangas. Some people like to use their elbows to do the same thing. For me, that's a little too much bone on bone, so I like the forearm. Okay, so those are some wrist warm-ups, especially with the weather like this outside where it's cold. Make sure you get your hands warmed up before your practice.